Hello, everyone. My name is Tyler Hart. I'm the Director of Admissions here at Villanova Preparatory School. I've been here now for 15 years, where I started as a math teacher. I am a Villanova parent of one graduate and one current freshman. Villanova was founded in 1924. We are a Catholic day and boarding school in the Augustinian tradition. We seek to educate mature young adults of diverse backgrounds. We are located in Ojai, a valley in the hills about 15 minutes from Ventura Beach. Our students work hard and they play hard. They are happy and they know that they are well supported. Students are enveloped in care by mentors, resident staff, teachers, coaches, classmates, teammates, the list goes on. We practice interdependence at Villanova. The teenage years often include the transition from dependence to independence. It is important to be mindful of the trifecta: when to be independent, when to depend on others, and recognizing when others depend on you. To lend a helping hand to your dorm mate who is having a difficult time, maybe is homesick, or to step in when you witness bullying or prejudice. These are valuable lessons, experiences, and skills to attain. Villanova is a Catholic school. About 50% of our student body is Catholic. We have Mass together as a school monthly. We are Augustinian. Throughout these slides, you will see quotes from St. Augustine, who is a doctor of the church and is well known in the world of philosophy. He professed three core values of unity, truth, and love. We focus on these core values with everything that we do. From our class retreats that are overnight in Malibu or on Catalina Island, students bond together and share life experiences in small groups led by faculty. We are an IB World School and the only boarding school in California offering the IB diploma program. The biggest difference between AP and IB is that these advanced courses are 2 years in length, offering a depth to the content that rivals college. As we assist you in applying for admission to university, you will learn about the many universities that accept the IB diploma as credit for 1 full year of college. Every university is different in how or if they offer college credit. So be sure to make this part of your conversation, regardless of the high school you attend next year. One of our recent graduates is currently attending Sarah Lawrence College. You'd think that most schools would offer credit replacing freshman year. Sarah Lawrence applied it to her sophomore year, which makes sense since freshman year has such a focus on students' successful transition into the college arena. Let's talk more about this graduate. Sophia was a nervous 8th grader at her interview, her short legs swinging in the chair as she rambled anxiously while waiting to be called into the room. She played tennis at Villanova all 4 years and participated in Clairbouthe Luce, a girls-only math and science program. She went to Catalina Island Marine Institute with her classmates and ended up to Santa Clara University to connect with female professors in her computer science and biotechnology. She earned an IB diploma in her 11th and 12th grades here at Villanova. Her higher level courses were history, biology, and art, so she spent both years studying these subjects at the college level. Like I said earlier, Sophia earned a full year of college credit with her IB diploma, so she will earn her bachelor's degree in only 3 years instead of 4. For those who are interested in the arts, we have a brand new art center that was built in 2018. This has been a fantastic addition for students in IB Art HL, where Sophia and all students in this class build their own portfolio and are judged on the progress they make over this 2-year course. We have 2 big productions each year, a fall drama, often a comedy, and our spring musical is outdoors. Late April, the sun goes down and the lights come up. Most recently, our students have performed Shrek, Beauty and the Beast, and Music Man. Whether you are an avid artist or have an undiscovered talent, you will, as a senior, wish that you took advantage of all the opportunities presented during your high school years. Even the most active and engaged students will say this on their way onward and upward. Yet another outlet for trying new things is sports. What is incredible about boarding school is the camaraderie that is formed between schoolmates, teammates, and classmates. And even if the team is loaded with beginners, at Villanova, we still achieve. A great example of this is our girls' water polo team. Of 10 girls on the team, 3 have played prior to high school, 7 were new to the sport, and 1 we had to teach how to swim. They have been the league champions 3 years in a row now, reaching the semifinals in 2019, an incredible feat. And of course, Villanova is a boarding school. Students are enveloped by many layers of care. We have a dedicated resident staff who live in the dormitory with the boarding students. We have about 90 boarding students on campus, students from San Bernardino and Los Angeles counties, as well as San Francisco, Sacramento, and Santa Clara. We also have international students from China, Korea, Japan, Vietnam, Ukraine, Turkey, Mexico, India, Spain, and Kazakhstan. Weekend activities are organized by the students and faculty, so you will never hear a student say, "We never do what I want to do," because all of a sudden you will be organizing that activity. We call it building leadership skills in no time. We organize college tours most long weekends to San Diego or San Francisco. We also have a spring break college tour that will hit a different region each year. Boston, Chicago, Pacific Northwest, New York and upstate, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. are some of the recent destinations. And speaking of colleges, we actually just had a student accepted to Columbia University on full scholarship. Villanova has many amazing traditions, from Wildcat Day with student competitions to Nova Bowl, where students build cardboard boats for 2 students to race in the regatta in our pool. Beach Day, just before final exams, is for students to relax and recharge before the final push in the springtime. And International Day is a fantastic tradition where students make food representing their country of origin. Pierogies from Poland, bratwurst from Germany, dim sum from China, and spring rolls from Vietnam. This is my favorite lunch of the year, and I've never gotten a stomachache. The afternoon is full of traditional dances, maybe a fashion show, highlighting the many cultures that exist both throughout the world and within our school community. Sophie enjoyed Wildcat Day with her friends and participated in International Day with the Filipino community her senior year, joining her best friend, Bella. At Villanova, our students serve. Our core value of love comes from the Latin word caritas, which more closely translates to charity, helping others. IB diploma students must complete a CAS project, which stands for Creativity, Activity, Service. We start with the words of St. Augustine, love and do what you like. The student's passion is that original idea for a project, then putting it into place and action in order to make someone or something a little bit better. Students are required to complete 20 hours of community service per year. Actually, only 10 hours for grade 9 students. Our most recent graduates, in fact, completed well above this expectation, averaging 47 hours just in their senior year. This is a responsibility, a habit that we want our students to form. And that is just a glimpse of what we have to offer at Villanova. We have a virtual open house on March 16th, and we are accepting applications for fall of 21 consideration. We invite you for a virtual tour of our campus and look forward to learning more about you as we answer 2 questions. Are you a good match for Villanova? And is Villanova a good match for you? Again, my name is Tyler Hart. I'm the Director of Admission here at Villanova, and I sign off by saying, go Wildcats.
Welcome, everybody. I'm really excited that you're able to join us. for our bi-weekly, what we're calling Spotlight on Departments from North Broward Prep. Going into March, we began having challenges giving tours on campus, and we developed some creative ways to help people experience North Broward Prep without actually physically being able to be here. And one of the most exciting developments is I've had the opportunity to spotlight and do a deep dive on several of the departments at North Broward Prep that really make us outstanding in the boarding school world. And today we're sort of getting at the heart of the boarding school experience that we offer. And in a minute, I'm going to introduce two of my closest colleagues. And I've been very excited for this edition of Spotlight on Departments at North Broward Prep because I work very closely with the Director of Residence Life, Mr. Kervin Saunders, and the Academic Counselor for Residence Life, Mr. Jonathan Henn. To give you a broad overview, we're going to be discussing the lifestyle, community aspects, the opportunities to build relationships, the structure of our boarding program, and ultimately also the safety that we provide through our boarding program. So without further ado, I'm very pleased to welcome Mr. Kervin Saunders and Jonathan Henn. Mr. Saunders, can you take a moment to introduce yourself?
Gladly. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kervin Saunders. I'm the Director of Residential Life here at North Broward Preparatory School. This is my 13th year in boarding and my 6th year as the Residential Life Director here at North Broward. I can go over so many things. Whenever Mike asks me to speak about boarding, I don't even know where to start because there's so many great things to talk about in boarding. I know one of the first points that he brought up to us was sharing what our Res Life philosophy is. Well, similar to the school and the academic field, we believe in educating the entire child. So as much energy and emphasis that goes into the education inside the classroom is that same level of passion that we bring to educating the child outside the classroom. A level of social development, independent living skills, cultural sensitivity, all of those things are what are nurtured, developed, taught, and encouraged in our residential life program. Because we know that that transition of going from high school to college can be challenging, and we want to make sure that our students are best prepared to be successful when they make that transition.
Fantastic. Thanks very much. And Mr. Jonathan Henn, a very important figure in the lives of our boarding students. Please introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your role.
Will do. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jonathan Henn. I've been working as the academic coordinator for our residential students coming on 7 years now. But I've been a part of this school for much longer than that. I'm actually a graduate of North Broward Prep from way back in the day. So I have seen the school from many perspectives. My wife is a math teacher at the school. My son is actually enrolled in the lower school. So this school to me, it feels like a family. So I'm definitely happy to be here. I'm happy to answer any questions. My role is academics, but I'm happy to, if anything else comes up, happy to address whatever questions come up. And thank you, Mike, for putting this together.
Yeah, fantastic. And I just realized I haven't introduced myself. My name is Mike Rogers, and I am the boarding admissions manager at North Broward Prep. So, this has been, I believe it's our 7th edition of Spotlight on Department. So I was saving Residence Life because I knew that we were going to have a fantastic call and we were building to it. So I've been looking forward to this a long time. Mr. Saunders, you did a great job of sort of introducing the philosophy. I'd like to sort of dig a little deeper and talk about the type of environment that we seek to provide through our boarding program.
The environment that we're fostering is one of harmony. And that's what you're looking for when you go, especially when you're looking at your colleges. When students are starting to transition into visiting colleges and trying to decide where they want to go, you want to look for a community, somewhere where you're going to be embraced, your passions are going to be encouraged, and your development is going to be nurtured. And that's what we duplicate here in our Res Life program at North Broward Prep. We ensure that our students are cared for, they're supported, and we're there to just be with them every step of the way so that they feel encouraged, they feel empowered, and they feel passionate about exploration and trying to really discover who they want to be, what their passions are, and following them to the nth degree.
Yeah, you know, I'm always amazed at how supportive our residence life staff is of students' passions. We offer a ton of athletics and academic activities and academic clubs, but we also have many of our boarding students that pursue passions outside of campus, whether it's, you know, in years past, the South Florida Hockey Academy or the PSG Elite Academy Pro or equestrian. Talk a little bit about some of the things you've seen recently, you know, that we've worked to support extracurricular activities.
Well, one, you'll hear this from many educators, especially on our campus. The best way towards being successful is to get involved and is to stay busy. And what's the best way of staying busy is doing something that you enjoy and something you're passionate about. So getting involved in extracurriculars on campus, whether they be our fine arts program, whether it be athletic teams, or if they be community service clubs, things that you're interested and passionate about, make sure that you get involved and you get engaged. It's the best way of meeting people, forming friendships, and building bridges and connections for the future. Aside from that, we also know that there are students that come with very specific interests. Maybe there's, over the last couple of years, we've had a number of students that enjoy wakeboarding, which, you know, which is a water sport. So there is a local park down the street where there's a man-made lake, and they sponsor all those sports. We've had students that were international competitors and did wakeboarding every week. We want to make sure that we're encouraging those passions of, one, just staying busy, physically fit, emotionally grounded, and just feeling connected to something outside of just your schoolwork or even your boarding community. You know, we want to make sure we're encouraging that level of individuality that our students have, and we want to encourage that they're taking advantage of every opportunity that's being provided to them, whether that be on or off campus. So some of those activities, like I mentioned, was wakeboarding. We have students that do equestrian. We have students that want to take golf lessons. Maybe they don't want to join the sports team, but they enjoy playing golf. And it's something that maybe helps them release their stress, you know, something that is maybe just a passion that they've developed over the years. We have students that do martial arts off campus, gymnastics. There's a whole host of activities that our students engage in. And for us, we try to the best of our ability. We'll never promise or guarantee that we can get a student to every activity that they request, but we try to the best of our ability to develop a system that will encourage students to be involved and be able to make arrangements to take part in those activities that they're interested in.
Excellent. You know, I'm always asked to describe our student body, and two words come up over and over again that I use: ambition, ambitious, and curious. That describes our student body, and our boarding population is no exception to that. You know, if you look at the participation in our activities and athletics, our boarding population mirrors almost exactly what our overall population is doing. You know, almost 2/3 of our students participate in at least one sport season. You know, there's unbelievable participation across the board in extracurriculars and community service organizations. You know, our students are busy, you know.
Yes, they are.
There's no other way around it. So, you know, we're looking to enroll students who enjoy being busy, whether it's they're exploring a passion or they come to us already knowing what a passion is. We're very supportive.
Mike,
I also, go ahead.
Do you mind if I chime in on that point? Because you're making a very good point, and Mr. Saunders made a very good point about getting involved, whether it be sports, robotics, because colleges, that's what they're looking for as well. It's also about making friends and, you know, blowing off steam, but it's also, that's what the next step is looking for. Colleges don't just want a student who studied for 4 years and that was it. They're going to ask you what else you've done. So getting involved, it's helpful in many, many ways, and even ties into academics. And that's something that we do, is we help students find that balance so that they can be well-rounded for the time when they apply to college, because colleges want to see all of that, especially in the US. I know some countries, maybe it's just one test score or, you know, some grades. US works differently. They want to see a full package, a well-rounded student.
Excellent point. You read my mind, because I often describe the boarding experience at North Broward Prep as college with training wheels. You know, we work very hard to mirror the college experience. There's a great balance of autonomy, pockets of time to make choices with how you use your time. But there is an overall structure that allows kids to develop really good habits and you know, so the parallels between, you know, college, what colleges are looking for, and what we do as a program are fantastic. As a matter of fact, when I give tours, the most common comment I get is that we feel like a small college, physically, as well as you know, how our students are living. You know, you're going to develop independence, you're going to develop maturity through this combination of independence and structure. I want to transition just a little bit, and before we get much further, want to talk about the physical layout of the dorm and how it contributes to our program and our goal. Well, first of all, while I'm doing that, Mr. Saunders, if you could go ahead and talk about our new dorm and the thought that went into creating it. You know, as I understand, our residence life team really worked with the architects in designing the dorm. You want to talk a little bit broadly about the layout of the dorm?
Well, we're very proud of our new facility. It is called the International Village. We're just finishing up our second year living in the dormitory this school year, and it was something that was thoughtfully designed around more of a collegiate atmosphere. Our dorm is designed and constructed, and it's similar to, actually, it's a lot nicer than most college dormitories, if I'm being honest. Once you transition from high school to college, you'll probably look back and say, wow, our dormitory in North Broward is much nicer than this. But it's definitely built and designed thoughtfully around community. There's a lot of communal spaces, but then there's also several pockets for quiet study and academic pursuits. And we also have things like a music room. We have an art room, because again, we want to make sure we're encouraging and opportunities for students to engage in those passions and interests that take place outside of the classroom. We have many students that don't take formal art classes, but always love to draw or paint. Maybe that's a passion of theirs or something that was developed in their family. So we made sure that we designed an art room for them. We have our music room for our students who want to pursue their musical interests and continue to practice, but also at the same time, not disturbing all of the other students who maybe just want to study quietly. So that's been designed and placed in an area of the dorm, so it puts a buffer between that noise that could be caused from someone practicing their instruments. We have several lobbies and snack lounges and laundry rooms. Anything you can think of, we have in the dormitory. We have a game room, but there's several areas where students can actually invite friends over to the dorm, whether it be their day student friends, so that they can socialize and play ping pong or pool. Or there's also our beautiful outdoor spaces as well, because being in South Florida, you want to make sure you're taking advantage of the outdoors, the beautiful sunshine and weather we have. So there's tons of green spaces surrounding the dormitory, whether you just want to sit outside, whether you want to play lawn volleyball, you want to play soccer on our multi-purpose field, you want to take a walk. We have many students that enjoy nature. So there's a lot of local wildlife like iguanas and things of that nature on campus. And we have students that are either in photography or enjoy photography as a personal passion. And they're walking around campus taking photos of different things, the sunset on the campus. It's just beautiful. And it's just really designed, again, to support a level of comfort and harmony and community, which is something that we don't necessarily just encourage, but it's something that we promote heavily on a daily basis, is that you're now a part of something that's bigger than yourself.
Excellent. And yeah, so I've finally got the virtual tour up. We have an awesome virtual tour on the homepage of our website, but the goal of this call and our in-person virtual tours are, you know, the people. And so I think it's an awesome opportunity that you're meeting, you know, Mr. Henn and Mr. Saunders today. Let's talk a little bit about the structure, the daily routine. And I'm going to lean on Mr. Henn a little bit because sort of the defining feature of the evening is what we call prep time. So, one of the structures is we intentionally carve out time for our students because they are very busy, but, developing the good habit of being, setting aside time and really digging into your preparation for school, whether it's an upcoming test or just doing your homework. So, Mr. Henn, can you talk about the different approaches that we have to study time in the dorm?
Of course, yes. So study time or prep time, as you said, that's something that we do every single school night. And it's something we put in place to support students and making sure that they're supported while they're completing their schoolwork. It's also based on a tier system. So the way I like to say it is, however a student is doing in their classes, how they're performing during the school day, if they're doing very well, or if they maybe are not doing well and they need to improve, that's the amount of support that they will receive. So we have 4 different tiers. There's independent for the students that are having, all A's, they're doing well. They don't really need us to tell them when and where to study. And then below that, there's standard, which is where most of our students will fall. That's their grades are, they're getting good grades, no D's or F's, but maybe not quite all A's. Those students are allowed to study in their room. Then you have what's called structured. So structured, we determine any student who has a D or an F in an academic class will be placed on structured status, which means that during that nightly study time you referred to, they would be monitored by their dorm parents, and they would also be supported by content area specialists. So what we employed this school year is that students would study in our Learning Commons, which is similar to a library. And students in need of math support, for example, once a week would be math, the other time a week would be English, and we had a history day, a science day, and we had teachers come in for those students in need of that support, because maybe a student is struggling in one subject, like math, for example. We're not going to make them sit through every single content area support, but if they need math, then they would be scheduled to have math support. And then for the rest of the time, they would be monitored by dorm parents to make sure that they're on task, because we know what it's like to be a student nowadays with iPads and computers. The distractions, they're everywhere. So just having someone monitor them, like a parent would be monitoring them while they're at home, that's the kind of environment that we try to put in place for our students to make sure that they're supported. And weekly, I receive academic reports about students. So grades are updated weekly. So it's very timely. And I'm also communicating with students. I'm pulling them into my office. And more importantly, I would say, just as important, I would say, I'm communicating with agents and parents to make sure that they're informed along the way, even though they might be all the way around the world. I want to make sure the partnership is still there to support their children.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders, can you talk a little bit about the layout of the rooms? I think it's genius that we have our rooms constructed in suite style living. So I personally think that having a roommate is a huge part of the boarding experience, but having suite mates kind of takes some pressure off of that, being isolated in a room with a roommate. Your world becomes a little bit bigger. So what we're looking at here is is one of the rooms. So it's 2 students to a room. But talk a little bit about the suite structure, Mr. Saunders. You're muted.
There we go. I'm back online.
Happens all the time.
No worries. So just as I talked about, you're going to hear me talk about community quite a bit. So when you're talking about suites and your suite mates, it's like a community within a community. So this is the smaller microcosm within the dorm program. So our dorm suites can have anywhere from 4 to 6 rooms in them, 2 students per suite. So our standard suites do have 6 rooms, and then 2 students per suite is a maximum of 12 students in a suite. Those 12 students, if you're in a standard suite, would share 3 showers, and those are individual showers. And I'm not sure if you have those pictures, Mike. I actually do.
If you share those, please.
Okay, let me share my screen. Are you seeing the photos?
Yeah, I see a room.
So this is our standard 2-person room. Actually, I'll go through it the same way that I actually give our tours, just so parents and students understand. So each room is designed for 2 students. Each student will get their own bed. It has its own mattress, which is hypoallergenically sealed. So obviously that'll protect the mattress itself. And plus, for anyone who has any allergies or any things of that nature, they don't have to worry about what type of material the mattress is made by. They'll have storage drawers underneath and shelves. Each student gets their own nightstand with their own personal safe. That's obviously been designed and thoughtfully implemented so that students have a sense of security for their personal belongings and their valuables. They'll have their own desk and their own desk chair. This is what we call our model room. So if you were to ever visit our campus, it gives you an idea of what a room will look like once it's been designed and decorated by a student. We want our students to obviously, have a level of personality in designing their rooms so they can have that kind of individual flair to it. But obviously there are parameters to make sure that items that are being posted, hung, or displayed are appropriate and in the best interest of an academic and social community. Aside from that, we do have these are our vanity washroom areas. Like I said earlier, we are eco-friendly, so we do not provide paper towels for students. Students, when they come to campus, when they're purchasing their bedding and things of that nature, they'll also be encouraged to buy their own set of hand towels. Those they will launder with their dirty laundry each week on their scheduled day. And then this is the privacy shower room. So obviously each shower, and I stated there are 3 in a standard suite, has its own door for individual privacy. You've got your little shelf all the way in the back there so you can put your toiletry kit. You've got a hook for your towel, and then a bench for your change of clothes. And then you can see the glass door there for your shower itself. So that is shared within the suite amongst the community. So again, it's that independent living that we're encouraging and we're developing and working with students, because maybe you live in a single family home and you're used to having your own bathroom. Well, now you're going to have to share that space with someone else. So making sure there are healthy levels of respect, an emphasis on communication, because that is the key to all healthy relationships is communication. If you're not communicating with your suite mates or anyone else, you may run into challenges that you might find difficult to find solutions to. But when you're communicating and communicating respectfully and clearly, we can find a solution to just about anything.
Can you briefly describe, sorry to interrupt, but a frequently asked question is how are roommates chosen? Can you talk a little bit about our approach to roommate selection, both for the new student coming in and then returning students?
Well, first and foremost, students are assigned by gender. So boys live with boys and girls live with girls. I got to make sure I put that out there for any student who wants to be wise and ask me that question. So first it's by gender, then it's by grade, because we want to make sure that we're creating an environment where students are going to have as many similar interests as possible. So students in the same grade may share the same teacher, which means they can help each other when it comes to studying. They may have the same academic course load, all of those different things. We're looking for stacking levels of support for each other, whether it be from peer to peer, student to dorm parent, or student to administrator. So making sure there are always levels of support, and that starts with the roommate first and foremost. So gender, grade, and then we're looking to create a level of diversity within the room. So we're going to match students with students from other countries to encourage and ensure that English is the common language being spoken in the room. So that's one way of diversifying our room assignments, but also encouraging students to strengthen their English skills, but also that cultural exchange that we value so heavily in our program and on our campus, of getting to know someone on a more personal level that may be from a different cultural background, speaks a different language, and has different interests than yourself. That's how we broaden our horizons and really develop a greater and more in-depth level of cultural understanding about each other.
Yeah, let me give a little background on that. So our high school population is about 980 students, so roughly 1,000 students. And our boarding population represents about a third of that. So we're right at 300 boarding students. And the number one reason that families, local families, give for choosing our school is, they love our global community. They want to go to school with kids from around the world. So our boarding population represents about 30 nations. So it's incredible diversity within the boarding community. So our boarding program is not something we do on the side. It's a huge part of our identity as a school. It's a very welcoming community because, again, that's the number one reason that our local families choose to study at North Broward. Mr. Henn, Mr. Saunders mentioned something about our students studying together, and I think that's a huge part of our culture. It's a very collaborative environment. A lot of that happens organically, again, because they have a shared experience. Many of them are taking the same classes, or they're going to an older student who had the class already. But we also have peer tutoring as one of our supports. Can you dive a little deeper into our peer tutoring program?
Yeah, sure thing. And first, I'd like to talk about collaboration and students studying together, because if you were to walk around our school during the school day, and if you were to look into the classrooms, you're not going to see in every classroom, probably the minority, you're not going to see rows of desks and a teacher at the front just talking to students. You're going to see a lot of chairs and tables pushed together and students working on projects. Collaboration is something that we promote amongst our students, and it's something that they're going to be using in the future as well, especially when they're working a job. So collaboration, it happens in the classroom. It also happens in the international village. And peer tutoring, Mike, that's what you talked about. We have students that will help other students in return for community service hours. So we have something called the National Honor Society, which is students who have performed well in their classes. They sign up to be peer tutors, and we arrange those tutors for any students in need. So before, I was talking about something called structured status for students that are struggling in their academic classes. We would pair those students with a National Honor Society student so that they can work together and receive some help where they need it. We do have extra help before and after school with actual teachers. So to give an example, if a student is struggling in math, they can go see their actual math teacher before and after school for extra help. That's available for all students. So that's something that we put in place. However, sometimes students learn best when they're being talked to by other students. That's just how the world works.
Yeah.
We can say something, they might not believe it, but then when their friend says something, they're, oh, okay, that makes sense now. So that's something that we put in place for students. It's optional. Some students do sign up, but other times people like myself will put that in place, because sometimes students will refuse help, but then when they get it, they see how great that help can be. So there's the Honor Society, but there's also our dorm itself. 2 years ago, a student named Carrillo, who actually just graduated, he started, or came to me, and together we started the residential peer tutoring program. So within the dorm itself, we have peer tutors, because the National Honor Society students, that usually takes place right after school. However, our students are here 24 hours a day. So even at night during prep time, we have students that can be peer tutors. So it's something that I think is very great, and it happens in the classroom. It happens, all the time, really.
Yeah, and our educational philosophy is centered around this thought that we're preparing our students for jobs and careers that might not have been invented yet. So developing skills to allow them to be flexible and compete in a changing business world, talking about things like collaboration, problem solving, creativity. All of these things are central to the North Broward education. Peer tutoring is just one really obvious example of that. Mr. Saunders, I think it's time to sort of give an overview of the staffing of the dormitory. I'm often asked, who lives with our students? What type of supervision are they getting in the dorm? So if you can give an overview of your department staffing.
The adults that are directly responsible for supervising and supporting the students, we've titled them dorm parents. And we kept the parent title in there because that's the role that they play. They're your surrogate parents at your new home away from home. So anything that a normal parent would provide, advice, support, guidance, supervision, just someone who's there for you to help you, move through and navigate those challenging, times as an adolescent, that's the role that our dorm parents play. So they're any and everything, hopefully they'll be considered your favorite aunt and uncle, more so than the stern parent. But it's all about developing relationships. So our dorm parents are there for our students all of the hours that they're not in school. So the minute our students are out of school at 3:35 on most days, our dorm parents are right there in the lobby or in their dormitory hallway waiting to welcome them home, and they're with them all the way until the very next morning when the students depart for school again. So our dorm parents are off during the day when our students are in class. That's when they'll go home and they'll get their rest, and they'll come right back to welcome their students with a big smile and open arms at the end of the day, and then manage their evening, their afternoon and their evenings well into the next day, but also on the weekends as well.
Awesome. And I also know that you have an excellent team of administrators. If you could talk a little bit about those roles.
We've been very fortunate to have a very well-developed administrative team. So there's myself as the director of Res Life. We have our operations manager, Patty Sammons. She was actually the woman that was sitting on the virtual tour, the very first line, sitting with the students. That's Miss Sammons. So she's actually extremely important, especially more so for our international boarders when it comes to their I-20s and their CVIS records. She manages all of that. She actually manages it for all of the international students, whether they be residential or day at the school. So she works very closely with the admissions office and obviously with Mr. Rogers here. So she's really, really important. Aside from those things, she's my right and left hand, really. That's what I say. And then there is our student coordinator, Miss Deborah Scheiber. She helps with community service, transportation arrangements. She's our student service support person, and really she just plays a supportive role for students and staff. She's just one of those backbones that's necessary, someone who's behind the scenes but gets a lot of work done to make sure this place is running smoothly. There's Mr. Henn, obviously, who's extremely important because he oversees all academics for our students, monitoring grades, ensuring students are supported. He's answering any of their academic questions, and he's generally the point person when it comes to communication between parents, agents, and students. We also have our activities coordinator, Mr. Lawrence Strange. So aside from all of the academics and extracurriculars, what are all the fun things we get to do? So we have our own activities person who he's in charge of just creating fun and engaging activities, not just for residential students, but also for day students to take part in many activities and functions that we host, whether they be on or off campus. And then we have our two campus managers. The campus managers are the administrators that oversee each floor of students. So there's a male campus manager for the boys floor who oversees the male dorm parents and then also the male students. And then obviously a female campus manager who oversees the female staff and female students on their floor.
So one of the frequently asked questions is, how do we help our students settle in? So, let's talk about orientation week. We have our new boarding students come in a week early so that they, Mr. Henn, we'll start with you. One of the key things that goes on during orientation week is course counseling. So let's talk about that.
Of course. Before we get to course counseling that happens toward the end of the week, I just want to rewind a little bit. So orientation that takes place the week before school starts. The goal is that students feel ready before they actually have to attend math class, for example. We're not just going to say, you arrive on the weekend, your class is tomorrow, good luck. So the entire week, it's about, getting your schedule, but it's also about making friends. Like, the first 2 weeks, everyone's new, everyone's looking to make friends. So those are some of the best friendships. So we try to make it, a suitable environment. We have a lot of team building activities, a lot of fun, but we also have to learn a lot. We have to learn about the school policies, the expectations, make sure everyone's on the same page. But we also do what's called placement assessments. So we have assessments in math, science, and English, grammar, speaking, writing, listening. We make sure that students are in the right class. So after taking those assessments, when they're marked by the department chairs, we get with the students and we figure out what they would like to do. So we have 5 academic classes on average, math, science, English, history, foreign language, but we also have 2 elective classes. So during orientation week, it's really nice what we do. We take students around to all of our elective classes. Elective means like fine arts, like dance, music, guitar, band. We also take them to technology classes like robotics, design thinking. We take them to our athletic classes like weight training and health. And we introduce students to our teachers, the people who they will be, learning from. And we also give them a demonstration about what they can expect in those classes. So students, based on what they would like to do, they sign up for those classes. And then during course counseling, we try to fit those classes into their schedule with the other classes that they need, the academic classes. So just to give an example, we have students coming from all around the world, and a lot of transcripts just say math. In the United States, our math classes are a little bit more distinct. For example, we have algebra, geometry, algebra 2. So we don't really know what math means. Are they taking algebra? Are they taking geometry? They're taking calculus? You know, obviously we have communications with the students. We can get course descriptions from previous schools, but our assessment is very important because it makes sure that these students are in the right fit class, which is very important because we need to make sure that the students are, you know, in the best environment for them. If a student is in a class that is too difficult, they're not going to learn. And the same if it's too easy. So we want to make sure it's the right fit. And it's not a perfect process. Once a student is actually in the classroom with their teachers, teachers are very educated on looking out for new students to make sure, okay, I think this is the right fit class. The assessment made sense. Or, you know what, this student, based on their assessments, based on their knowledge, based on their participation, I think, Mr. Hen, you should put them into a higher level class. So there's a lot of moving parts, but just to summarize, the orientation week is for when students, they're getting acclimated to the school, they're making friends, and they're figuring out the right fit classes. And they're meeting with a lot of people all across the school, principals, guidance counselors. I'll be there all week. Mr. Rogers is there, Mr. Saunders is there. Pretty much everybody that students need to meet or need to get introduced to, that's the time that all that happens. It's a very, very important week.
Excellent overview. Thank you. And Mr. Saunders, you know, I think you can't talk about orientation week without including dorm leadership, because this is where a lot of our dorm leaders, returning students, veteran students, the link crew. So let's talk about, you know, the dorm leadership contribution to orientation week.
Our leadership program in the residential in the residential life they're called prefects. Those are student leaders. When you go off to college, the closest thing that they can be associated with would be a residential assistant within a college dormitory. That's what our prefects are. They're generally seasoned students that have been with us for at least a year. They're looking to enhance their leadership skills and to be given opportunities to be seen as resources, positive resources and student examples within the residential program, but also on the school campus. So our residential assistants are part of a full-blown and, you know, fully well-developed leadership program. It's something that you can actually add on to college applications when they're applying for colleges, because they'll receive a certificate when it's done that they've passed this leadership course. And that's what colleges are looking for. They're looking for students to be well-rounded, but they're also looking for leaders. You know, that's what colleges are looking for. So we made sure that we developed a similar style program within the dormitory for all grade levels. We're still looking for some younger prefects, but the majority of our prefects are 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So they have weekly meetings with a prefect leader, but they will be here during orientation so that you have seasoned vets, so to speak, in the dormitory to give you, you know, a positive, you know, outlook on what it's like to be a dorm student. These are some of the challenges you may be faced with or that they were faced with. And hey, here's some advice to help you be successful. And hey, if you have any questions, you can lean on me, because we also know that students may not initially feel comfortable asking those questions to an adult or an unfamiliar adult. And they may be more, you know, comfortable and reticent to ask a peer or someone who's seen as a student leader, especially when they see the level of respect that those students garner. Like this is someone I need to know. This is someone I need to be able to speak to, or this is someone I know I can go to if I have a question.
Excellent, excellent. So at this time, I'd like to open it up to questions. I know we've covered a lot of areas, and I knew that going in that there's a lot to talk about our program because it's very comprehensive. I think we have over 20 participants on this call, so the most efficient way would probably be to use the chat function, but I would invite any questions from our audience right now. And while we're getting some questions, some of the frequently asked questions I get regarding rules and procedures. What's our approach to cell phones and electronics?
They're not allowed. We're a no.
No, not at all. Because that's what kids are afraid of. They're afraid of that answer.
I know. There are certain schools that have those rules. We have we don't like to call them rules. We like to call them expectations. you know, and we like to make sure we're setting, because when you just talk about rules all day long, that's all that students hear, and they're normally either going to tune you out or they're not going to treat it as important. So expectations are meant to develop an individual. So our expectations around cell phones, obviously the school has its own policies. Within the dorm, when it's considered your free time, you can use your cell phone. The only time that restrictions are put in place when it comes to cell phones and electronics is during our academic study time, which is prep time in the evening, and after lights out. So if it's prep time and you're supposed to be studying, you should not be on your cell phone. You should not be gaming and things of that nature. And our dorm parents will be going up and down hallways, going into rooms, and ensuring that students are staying on task. And those that are veering off task will be, you know, warmly and gently reminded. And those that are continuing to, you know, need additional support, there may be some restrictions put in place for them. And then the expectation at lights out, and this is what this is the sentence I always use. We teenagers being teenagers, we want them to make the honest attempt to try to go to sleep at lights out, which is 10:30 for middle school, 11 p.m. for high school. And again, our dorm parents are up very, very late, going up and down halls and ensuring that students are making that honest attempt. But when they do find that students are texting, gaming, doing certain things with their electronics after lights out, again, it'll be a gentle warning and reminder. And after that, additional infractions would equate to additional restrictions.
Yeah, and Mr. Henn, part of your, your weekly academic review with each student is looking for trends, right? So if we start to see, for example, a student is starting to struggle to get to school on time, or grades teeter, we're going to look at things like how are you using electronics. So what are some of the interventions you see around those expectations?
Yeah, Mike, you're definitely right about that. And I want to say, echoing what Mr. Saunders said, a lot of what this comes down to, especially in the beginning, because eventually we're going to have those conversations. We're going to get to know every student on an individual level, but partnership with parents is key. So a lot of parents, I mean, obviously, you know your children best. If you know that your child likes to stay up late on their cell phone, or your child's a big time video game player and you might see it's a distraction and you're worried about it, that's where communication comes in. You can let us know. And then we know, okay, this is a student who, when it's time for lights out, we would hold their technology until the morning. So then those temptations are not there. But Mr. Rogers, as you said, I do check in with students, and oftentimes on a weekly basis, if they need it, or obviously if I see a trend. And if it's a downward trend, obviously I'll communicate with the students. And the more we know about the students, if we see, okay, this student is not focusing on academics, we need to figure out what's going on. And we determine that this student is a big time video game player, and we see that they're not using their devices properly, the student might be put on what's called electronic restriction, where they would only be able to use their devices under supervision and during our study time. Not all students need that kind of support, but if a student does need that kind of monitoring support, that's something that we can provide. Also, for our middle school students, they're a little bit younger, maybe they're not as mature when it comes to their devices. At night, by lights out, we do take all middle school devices to ensure that they're getting a good night's sleep, so that they're ready for the school day the next morning.
Yeah, but to be clear, the overwhelming majority of our students are responsible. That's the type of student you're going to be around. I mean, they're ambitious, they've got high goals, and they're taking care of business. So we're not micromanaging, the vast majority of our students. But I want to make the point clear that if your student, is struggling in an area, we've got many, many interventions to help support and get and put some boundaries around them as needed. I have a question from the audience, and I'm going to kind of lay down a challenge to Mr. Saunders and Mr. Henn.
Of course, why not?
Can you take us through a typical day in 1.5 minutes for a student?
1.5 minutes, easy. Here we go. Wake up's at 7 a.m. Breakfast is served from 7 a.m. to 8:15. The majority of our students will be going to breakfast around 7:30, 7:45. That's where they'll see Mr. Saunders and Mr. Henn, our smiling faces. Students will eat, will converse, talk about their day. 8:15, everyone is to depart the high school cafeteria. Then everyone is off to class. Class starts at 8:25, so the school day is 8:25 to 3:35. We release 1 hour earlier on Wednesday. So the students come back to the dorm at 3:35 p.m. Then they're greeted by the warm, smiling faces of their dorm parents. They will check in via our boarding application called Reach. So we'll know all the students that are accounted for, and any students who haven't checked in, we will reach out to them so we know their whereabouts on campus and what they're engaged in. So that 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. is generally when students are taking advantage of their extracurriculars. So sports, fine arts, clubs, maybe we're taking kids to martial arts and horseback riding. Then dinner is served from 5:30 to 6:30. There's a half an hour window of downtime. Then it's prep time from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's study time in their rooms, at their desk with their door propped open. 9 p.m. from 10 p.m. is an hour of free time. That's when they can engage in all of the amenities that are available on campus, whether that be socializing or use of the weight room, fitness center, sports fields, things of that nature. And then 10 o'clock is curfew. Everyone's in the dorm. We do a physical head count of all students. The students have another hour if you're in high school, but middle school students, 10:30, they're in their rooms and it's lights out. High school students, it's 11 p.m. And then we do it all again the very next day.
You did it. You did it. Now, Mr. Hen, I want to, this isn't a challenge, Mr. Hen, but add to it. Let's say a student or a group of students, they've got a big presentation in class tomorrow, which is really common assignment, giving presentations or creating a web presentation. What do they do if they still have work to do and it's 11 o'clock?
Do I have a time frame? 30 seconds, 1 minute?
No time frame.
So if a student is not able to finish their work under what we call prep time, and we see that they're working diligently, they can request something called late lights, which is they would be able to go into, for example, one of our study rooms and continue working on that project. Obviously, sleep is very important. Student health is number one, but sometimes, especially if your student is an IB or an AP student, which means they're taking those high college level classes, they might have assignments that are group assignments that they have not yet completed and need more time. So they could stay up a little bit later past lights out, but that's only if they've proven that they've used their prep time wisely. Yeah. So for example, if a student was just goofing off and not, doing what they needed to do and not using their time wisely, then they would not get that benefit. But obviously we're going to support students for their academic needs, because academics, no matter which way you slice it, even though the colleges are looking for a well-rounded student, they still want to see students are getting good grades in their classes. So we're going to support them just as any parent would, and give them what they need within reason. They can't stay up all night. That's just not good for their health, but we can give them a few more hours if they need to complete a big project.
Sure. Another question from the group, and it's for either one of you. What are some of the security features? I mean, there's a lot of ways to do boarding, and as you look at other schools and how they do it, we like our way. Our dorm is on campus. That allows us to provide a very supervised and secure environment. So let's talk about some of the security features briefly. I'll throw it to Mr. Saunders first.
Well, first, we're on a gated campus. This is an 88-acre campus. So we're on a gated campus. We have multiple levels of security, whether that during the school day, we do have our school resource officers that obviously work for the police department that are here. We have our North Broward security, and then we also have our own private security that are here after school and into the morning, pretty much 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next day. So there's those levels of professional security. The dormitory itself, we have multiple cameras throughout the dorms, obviously only in common areas and hallways, not in student bedrooms, but we have security cameras and a monitoring station that is monitored by one of our staff to ensure that students are acting in mature, responsible fashion, and also to ensure that, we're able to keep a bird's eye view on what's happening on the campus. There's also cameras on the exterior of the building as well, so we can see all the entry points. All of the entry points are locked. We will be having a card reader system activated on the dorm, so every member of faculty and students will have something like a student ID or a faculty ID. You will need this to gain access to the dormitory itself. Again, once it's lights out, a portion of our security team moves over closer to the dorm to ensure that, their students are being responsible, doors are locked, multiple checks every hour throughout the day. And our staff are trained to make sure that we're keeping a bird's eye view and just a sense of observational awareness of what's happening in the surroundings. So our dorm parents, if they're wearing Fitbits, they're getting a lot of steps in. They're everywhere. They're everywhere on the dormitory, making sure that they're popping in all the common areas, and they're also popping into bedrooms. I know students will say, well, I don't feel like I have privacy here, but we want to ensure that students are safe. You know, God forbid a student faints or has an allergic reaction. If you're not going into student rooms to, you know, and it's not every minute of every hour, but it's definitely routinely, just to ensure that everyone is okay, or if they need anything, maybe something arises, you know.
And it's not like a stranger is coming into your room either. You know, there's a relationship, a really special relationship that dorm parents and students have.
And that relationship is always coupled with respect. So it's always knocking on if the student's door is closed, it's always knocking on the student's door first before entering. And it's only male staff going into male student rooms and female staff going into female student rooms and things of that nature. But safety and security is our #1 priority. And that's even before academics.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that your students are healthy and that they're safe, even before we start talking about academics and dorm life and all of these other things.
And it is a fully gated school. So the only access points on campus are through 2 security checkpoints, either or. And there are no strangers on campus. So every visitor has to provide ID. We do a quick background check through the Raptor system. And there's ongoing training for all faculty and staff on how to respond in crisis. So ALICE training is something that doesn't matter if you've been working at North Broward Prep for 30 years. You go through ALICE training each year. So we're prepared for as many eventualities as can be imagined. But we're proactive about it. We're not reactive. So,
and we have drills throughout the school year for our students, even in the dormitory. Like a student, whether residential or day, they'll have maybe fire drills in the school day, but we'll also do a fire drill in the dorm in the evening, because who knows what may happen. Someone may keep a bag of popcorn in the microwave too long and it sets off the fire alarm. You still want to know what you're supposed to do, where you're supposed to go, and how things are supposed to be handled. And unless you're trained and experienced on how to manage that situation, you're not going to know what to do. So we go through drills, fire drills, lockdown drills, things of that nature with our students, at least once a month throughout the school year in the dorm.
Well, I want to extend a heartfelt thanks to our guests today, Mr. Kervin Saunders and Mr. Jonathan Henn, 2 of my closest colleagues on campus. So I knew this was going to be a good call. Thank you for your time. I know we still have students on campus, so these men are pretty busy right now. So I'm going to let you guys get back to your day.
We appreciate it, Mike. I know this is virtual, so I can't see everyone that's on the call, but I definitely like to say hello and thank you for taking the time to join us and learn a little bit more about our program. We're here. We're at your disposal. Anything you need, phone call, email, whatever it is, we're here to make sure that you feel comfortable with your child coming here and that they feel safe and they feel supported and encouraged to reach the highest of heights.
Yeah, if you take nothing else from this call, I think, relationships are what happened to our boarding program. Whether it's, meeting peers from around the world or the great interactions you're going to have with the mentors and adults on campus. And Mr. Henn, thank you very much for what you do with the academic support.
Happy to help. Thank you for having me, Mike. And it's nice to have everyone here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, everyone. I wish everyone a great day, the upcoming weekend. Enjoy.
Everyone stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, folks. My name is Toby Nelson. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at Foxcroft Academy here in Dover, Foxcroft, Maine. We're the safest state in the United States. And our town, Dover, Foxcroft, we're right smack dab in the middle of the state of Maine. We're pretty close to Canada. We border Massachusetts and New Hampshire. We're a wonderful state and a wonderful place for you to come and learn more about why Foxcroft Academy might be a good fit for you. Over the next couple of minutes, we'll run through a slideshow presentation. You'll see some pictures of the school. We'll give you some history. Also talk about some of the programs, whether it be academic, athletic, arts, music. plenty of programs here at Foxcroft Academy that you and students might be very interested in if you're looking to continue with your educational endeavors. And we're happy to answer any questions as we go along. As I mentioned before, I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications, so I'm not a direct admissions officer, but I do work closely with the Director of Admissions and the Associate Director of Admissions, and I know the school very, very well. I'm a graduate of Foxcroft Academy. I've lived in the area. We are a day school and a boarding school. I lived in the area growing up. I moved away for a time and then came back here to my alma mater, where I've been working for the last 5 years as the communications director and also the boys varsity basketball coach. So if you're interested in playing basketball, well, I might be a familiar face if you do end up coming to Foxcroft Academy. But let's talk about the school here, as I want to show you about our school, want to talk to you about some of the programs that we offer and some other things here at Foxcroft Academy. So first of all, this is a slide here. It's a picture of our main school building, and this was taken in June, would have been 2 Junes ago during before COVID, and it would have been during graduation time. As you can see, the sun poking in from behind the clouds, but that's our main school building and where you would have all your classes here at Foxcroft Academy. As we have one main school building, 2 dormitories that I'll talk to you about, and also some other buildings, including an ice arena, also a swimming pool over at the local YMCA, and we have plenty of athletic fields that you don't necessarily have to be on an athletic team to use. You can just use them because you're a student here at Foxcroft Academy. So again, established in 1823, knowledge is power. That is what we were founded under the principle of knowledge is power, and that's what we try to give you. So for close to 200 years, we've been educating the youth of Central Maine and beyond. This was the original school building. What you just saw before was built in 1952. This was the original school building, which was in the center of town, in the center of Dover Foxcroft. The building is no longer there. It's too bad, because it was a nice building, obviously, for the times, but it was demolished back in the 1950s. But this was the original Foxcroft Academy, and then again in 1952, the building was moved about a mile up the road to our current location at 975 West Main Street in Dover Foxcroft. This was an overhead view of Foxcroft Academy about 4 years after it was finalized, or at least the main portion of the building was finalized. As you'll see from some of the pictures, our gymnasium is not in that building right now because that wasn't built until 1961. Our library, our English wing weren't added until the 1980s. We have some industrial technology buildings out back that weren't added until the 1970s. But the original shell of the building still exists. You see the American football field off to the left side. Well, that is currently part of our football field, but the football field has actually been turned perpendicular, so it's parallel with the road now. You see the road going down across there. The football field, also soccer field, and the other fields are parallel with the road instead of going perpendicular. And up behind those little trees behind the football goalposts, those are actually where the dorms are now. It used to be just a wooded area. So this is a cool aerial view from 1956. This is the current school building, the front of Foxcroft Academy on a beautiful spring day. And as you can see, we're very proud of our grounds. We keep it very, very pristine, and we keep the building, even though it is a 70-year-old building, it is very modern and very up-to-date with some modern amenities, obviously, as we look to help our students get a quality education. And to do that, you have to be in a quality building. And we feel that Foxcroft Academy offers a ton of quality. If you drive by our campus, you will see that it looks, more like a small college type community than it might be a local high school here in northern New England. Classroom look, one from 1953, and this is our second year the building was inhabited back when it was built in 1952, and that classroom in 1953. And then, of course, the Foxcroft Academy classroom in 2021. iPads for all students. We'll talk about that as we get going further in. But a lot of teacher interaction with students, putting the onus on the students really to help their education. But again, our teachers are here to help. They're here to help you learn, and they're here to grow our students into fine young adults. A map of New England, and as you can see there, the state of Maine, we're the largest landmass-wise in New England, and actually, if you took that state of Maine, you could cover the rest of those 6 states with Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. So I guess it's 5 states, but you could cover that. And you can see where Boston is in Massachusetts. You can take a ride up Interstate 95 to Portland. You can continue on Interstate 95 to Bangor. That's where the international airport is, the local international airport. And from Bangor to Dover Foxcroft, where Foxcroft Academy is located, is roughly a 45-minute ride or 40 miles. Traffic is not a huge concern. Traffic moves along at a fairly good clip. It's not a highway from Bangor to Dover Foxcroft, but it is a state road, so it's well kept, even in the summer and in the winter, when, of course, we do get some snow, because we'll see all 4 seasons here in the state of Maine. But it's very simple to get to Foxcroft Academy, flying in to Bangor International Airport. Also coming from Portland, you can take a bus to Bangor and we can pick you up at the bus station there. So it's not hard to get here, even though we are halfway around the world. Maine, the safest state in the United States, says so by U.S. News and World Report. Also, other entities have ranked Maine as the safest state for personal safety, for financial safety, for road safety, and for workplace safety. So we're a fairly small population. The whole state only has 1.3 million people, but we have a very low crime rate, a very low property crime rate as far as destruction of property, and you can walk freely on the streets here in Dover Foxcroft, and really in many small towns around us, and feel very, very safe doing so. I'll talk more about the campus as we go on, but the campus is fairly centrally located in town, so there's grocery stores, some fast food restaurants, convenience stores, drugstores, banks, many things around us that are all within walking distance on a nice day. Obviously, if it's raining or snowing outside, you can get a ride, but if you want to get out and exercise and have a great walk, well, you can do that here at Foxcroft Academy. But we're safe, and we want to let you know that your child will be very safe when they come here to school here at Foxcroft Academy, because safety and security is our #1 goal. This is a newer overhead shot. You saw the one back a few slides ago from 1956. This is our campus, and as you can see, the football field is not going the same way as in the other picture. The football and soccer field there with the track around there, and the all-weather track is very much usable for our dorm students as well. Our boarding students have the opportunity to use the track if they want to walk, run, or just do any sort of exercise. It's available to them basically 24 hours a day. Well, I guess not overnights, but during the day, you have plenty of opportunity to be able to use the track. You can see up behind the football field another field. That's our field hockey field, and we have a baseball field, a softball field off on the backside. The 2 dorms basically in the center of the picture, the brick one in the front is called Herd Hall. That holds 66 students, up to 66 students, and the dorm in the back we call the lodge, because it kind of resembles a ski lodge, and that can hold up to 36 students. Each of the dorms has apartments for dorm parents. So your child will be very, very safe because they have dorm parents that will help them out. And again, we'll talk about more about that. And as you look on the right-hand side, that is the main school building, much bigger than in the other picture from 1956. We've added a gymnasium, a gym lobby, industrial technology buildings out back, an English wing, music department, a 3rd floor to the library. So plenty of building space and classroom space for you here at Foxcroft Academy. A couple more pictures of our facility. A picture from out front where it says all visitors. That's the gym lobby entrance. The one to its right is a picture of our cotton garden, which is an area you can go out and eat or drink a cup of coffee. It's very, very nice to sit there and just kind of enjoy nature. And then a picture from looking up at our football field press box, or our stadium facility, and the front of the school building by the gym lobby with the map there of Foxcroft Academy. Our diverse student body, it sets us apart from many schools here in the state of Maine and really around the area. For roughly 420 students, 325 of them American day students, most from surrounding towns. We are a private school. We do serve the need of a public, which means that we have town students or day students that go to school here. And then we have a maximum 110 international boarding student population, a maximum of 110 students, representing upwards of 23 countries. You can see the picture below, all the flags from different nations that are represented here in the halls of Foxcroft Academy. You see the United States flag, obviously, but there are plenty of other nations represented on a day in and day out basis. And our students intermingle. We don't just have classes that are boarding students. They are intermingle with the day students and can become great friends with our day students as well. And next thing you know, you might be part of a family here at Foxcroft Academy, going to friends' houses in town for barbecues, for overnight visits, for movie nights, whatever it might be. You're going to make friends very, very quickly if you want to here at Foxcroft Academy. So those are just some of the numbers to look at. A couple pictures from classrooms from our day students and boarding students working together. This is in our art, one of our art rooms. Our art AP art students will move on to much bigger and better things. They do great work here at Foxcroft Academy, but we've had several students move on to big name schools when it comes to art. Here are some of our day and boarding students mingling together. The top left-hand corner, that is from a recent prom. This was right before COVID struck last year. And then off to the right side is our flag ceremony, a picture of our flag ceremony where we have all of our different boarding students. They hold the flag of their home countries and tell us a little bit more about their countries. And it's a great opportunity for people in school to learn more about the countries that are in the hallways here at Foxcroft Academy. The bottom left-hand corner with the students painted up in a little bit of maroon. Well, that's a part of homecoming. We have a lot of school spirit weeks here at Foxcroft Academy, including homecoming, winter carnival, spring fling, and it's a chance for our student population to, well, yeah, you are a student. You also can have some fun here at school. And this is part of the homecoming festivities that we have each and every fall at Foxcroft Academy. It's surrounded by a bunch of games, bonfires. We have parades, and of course, sporting events going on that whole week. And the bottom picture is also a picture of our flag ceremony from last year in 2019-20. Culture is alive and well at Foxcroft Academy, and you can see it here. Pictures from our flag ceremony, also pictures from a night we call International Food Night. And that's really turned into a nice evening of cooking, first of all, which everybody loves food, right? The best way to meet people is through food. And we found that with our International Food Night. And what that is it's a night where we invite the public in, and our boarding students cook dishes that might be native to them. And it could be anything, it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's native to the homeland where they come from. And it's a great opportunity for our public to meet some of our boarding students, and our boarding students to meet the public around us as well, as we're a very small-knit community, a tight-knit community, and we get to know each other very, very quickly and very, very well. So those are some pictures from our International Food Night and some pictures from our flag ceremony. As you can see, a lot of color, which I think that's the most important part of this, is you see all the different colors that are represented here at Foxcroft Academy. On to the meat and potatoes, the academic portion here at Foxcroft. We offer the IB diploma. It's the third year we've been offering the International Baccalaureate diploma. We have 21 AP courses. We have 21 advanced placement courses, 32 plus honors level courses, and we offer 141 total courses, plus total courses. So really, whatever you want to study, you probably can find the fit here at Foxcroft Academy. We offer a very robust school catalog as far as what we have for classes, and a good opportunity for you to learn. We are an Apple Distinguished School, and we're actually in the midst of reapplying to be an Apple Distinguished School, as we have iPads issued to all students for academic advancement. So every student that comes to Foxcroft Academy, day student or boarding student, you get an iPad that you can use at your leisure. Obviously, use it for classes, but you can use it for other things as well. You can watch Netflix at night if you want to. You can use it to study. You can use it to play games. You can use it to communicate, to take pictures, to record movies, whatever you want to do. That iPad is yours, and as long as you stay within the restrictions of what we offer, the iPad is yours for as long as you are here at Foxcroft Academy. We've been one of the first schools in the state to offer that one-to-one iPad program. And Foxcroft Academy is a Newsweek Top 25 STEM school, which is a great honor for us. Top 2,500 in the country. So in the whole United States, Foxcroft Academy, through Newsweek magazine anyway, was voted in the top 2,500 for U.S. STEM schools. Great honor for us here at Foxcroft. We offer ESL classes, so English as a second language, 3 foreign language opportunities with Spanish, Latin, and with German. Others are available online as you request or as they are needed. We have a robust performing and fine arts department, as well as science, social studies and humanities, history, economics and sports, all kinds of really good classes on the social studies and humanities forefront. Our STEM program with science, technology, engineering, and math, we have many programs to suit your needs and a lot of hands-on learning as well. Classes. We have welding classes, carpentry classes as well. Even if you just want to take it as an elective, say your junior or senior year, they're great skills to actually have as you move on in your academic endeavors. Some pictures from our school during the school day. The one in the right upper left-hand corner is a student, actually from the class of 2021. She is studying in the library, in our library, which obviously we have books in our library, also a computer lab, and just a kind of a good place to go and unwind if you need to, and sit down, do some homework, and read a book, and take the day's stresses away. A picture from one of our foreign language rooms, as well as a math class and just an overall study session going on down in the lower right-hand corner. So as you can see, boarding students and day students intermingling, and looks like they're all having a good time. And why wouldn't you, as we offer great programs here at Foxcroft Academy. As I mentioned before, the arts department, we have performing and fine arts. Performing arts include band, jazz band, strings, chorus. We also have a musical every fall that we put on, one-act plays, three-act plays. We have a filmmaking department. This year with COVID, we had to get a little bit creative, and we're offering a steel drum band right now. Hey, they have been recording many specials that we would have had, say, live, maybe in a performing arts setting, but it turned out to be that we had to record them, put them up on YouTube, and they've gotten a lot of looks online. Our Christmas special, we'll do a winter special as well as the year goes on. On the actual fine arts portions, where you're looking at sculpture, metal sculpture, ceramics, regular painting, fine painting, woodworking, all kinds of great opportunities for you. And again, people moving on in these programs can go on to some very, very high quality colleges and continue on their path on the art side of things. These are some of the performing arts that we have, music and performing arts. Steel drum band, as I mentioned before, that's in the upper left-hand corner. Our strings ensemble performing with the violins, viola, cello, different strings instruments. Down in the lower portion, that is our select choir, where they are obviously singers. This is from the 2019-20 school year. And last year, the Foxcroft Academy Marching Band had the opportunity to go to Disney World and actually perform at Disney World. So that was a great opportunity for our band students. We sent 50-plus band students to Disney World, and they marched and played in a parade down at Magic Kingdom. You can see the Magic Kingdom Castle in the background. That's the second time we've done that, and a great opportunity for many of our students. And there were boarding students that went too. So this was not just a day student thing. This was a Foxcroft Academy thing. This is rock band. And how many schools offer a legit rock band class for credit? Play guitar, like to sing, play the drums, play any other ancillary instrument. You have the opportunity to play in the rock band and sing some pretty cool songs, I will say. If you're interested, you can check out our YouTube page. It's Foxcroft Academy Films, and we do have videos of our rock band concerts over the past couple of years, and there's been some very good music. This was from a musical, Shrek, the musical. We've had Shrek, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. We've done Beauty and the Beast over the past couple of years, so some very big-name musicals, and fine actors and actresses from Foxcroft Academy. These are all students, so they really, really do a great job putting this together. Our art studio, you can see some of these are great paintings. These are all done by students. These aren't stock images, folks. These are students at Foxcroft Academy that have put ink or put paint to canvas and done a great job doing that. So pictures from our art studio. Metal sculpting. We kind of put welding and art together as one, and you make metal sculpting. And look at that. Let's talk about college. Obviously, we want you here at Foxcroft Academy, but we understand it's a short-term thing because at most you're going to be here 4 years. So we want to move you on and move you to a place that you want to be. So our college counselors, everything we do is tailored to suit the individual student. We're not looking at groups. We're looking at the individual when we take a look at the classes you're taking and what your individual goals and aspirations are. It really begins in your sophomore year. Your freshman year, you're kind of getting acclimated to high school. If you're here for 4 years, you're getting acclimated to the classes, to the setting, and how things go. But by your sophomore year is where you start looking at where you might want to go to college. We offer university fairs on campus. We also offer university campus visits. It could be anywhere in Maine, also in New England. We've gone to New York as well for campus visits, as New York has hundreds of colleges to take a look at. And we offer application assistance when you want to apply to schools. And on the right side, you can see the different schools that Foxcroft Academy students have been accepted into. And folks, there are some big name schools there. And this is just over the last 5 years' time. So it doesn't mean you have to. I mean, if you go to a smaller community college, that's great too. But we do offer an opportunity to go to some big name schools around the country. University visits. From around, one of those is Fordham University in New York, so great opportunity, and one was from Boston. So these are obviously out of town. There's some in New England and some in the northeast part of the United States, but a great opportunity for some of these students. These are boarding students that have the chance to go do some university visits. Athletics, we offer 22 interscholastic sports for both male and female students. You can see the list of them, but if you can think of a sport, we probably have it here at Foxcroft Academy. We've scored 23 state championships, 46 conference championships over the time that we've offered athletics since really the 1960s or so. But we have some very good teams, and it's a great opportunity for you to get to know other students if you have a love for a sport. And it doesn't have to be on the varsity level either. Junior varsity sports exist for most of these sports, and that gives you the opportunity to work on some skills if you're just not ready for varsity athletics. And if you just want to go play, well, there's plenty of space. You can go play too outside with fields and gyms and weight rooms, and tennis courts, all kinds of things to do here at FA. Here are some pictures of our recent athletics. These actually all came from this past fall, the soccer. Basketball was from the winter, as our pony teams in competition with soccer and basketball. But again, we offer football, golf, cross country, tennis, baseball, softball, cheer, swim, anything in between we offer. These are some of our main areas that we play in. You have the tennis court, the gymnasium, the basketball gymnasium, and the track, which surrounds the football field and soccer field, and also our trophy case, which is in our gym lobby. It's a main focal point when you walk into Foxcroft Academy, and you can see some of the hardware that we've been able to win over the last decades. This is our competition swimming pool. It's at the Piscataquis Regional YMCA. It's maybe a mile away from campus, probably not even that far. And our swim team swims there. We also offer open swim for our boarding students as well. So if you're interested in swimming, we have a pool for you that's not too far from campus. This is a brand new Piscataquis County Ice Arena. It was built and opened in 2020. And as you can see, folks having fun out there skating. This was taken pre-COVID. As with the COVID regulations now, we're wearing face masks and trying to distance out a little bit more. But the fact is, this is what the arena looks like on the inside. It's a really, really, I want to say a cool place to be, because it is cold, obviously. It's an ice arena, but it's not brutally cold. It's actually very comfortable, and a cool place to be because it's really, really nice. Student life here at FA, we offer, if there's a club you want, we have it. You can see them all: art club, chess club, civil rights team, gaming club, history club, key club, Latin club, National Honor Society, student council. These are all just to name a few of the clubs and organizations we have here at FA. Residential life, let's touch on that here really quickly. We offer 2 modern dorms on campus. This is Hurd Hall, which is the one out front. If you remember back to the picture that I showed you before, the aerial view, this is one of the buildings. We have caring and dedicated residential life staff that live within the buildings. They are your dorm parents, so they'll treat you just like your parents in the sense they care about your needs and wants, and they want you to do very, very well in school and do very, very well while living here on campus. So if you have any problems, you can see your dorm parents, and they certainly will help you out. Offer weekend activities, so you're not just stuck in your room. Obviously, if you want to sleep in a little bit, that's fine on the weekends, but if you want to go do stuff, there's plenty of activities, and we have a beautiful campus and the grounds around the campus that you can explore. This is the dorm out back. This is called the lodge. I mentioned before, this one looks kind of like a ski lodge, And this 36 students, this one holds. And if you look at the front part of this, that's with the 2 windows, that is a dorm parent apartment. So that's where one of the sets of dorm parents might live, someone you may need as you go through. This is Herd Hall again from the front on a gorgeous summer day at Foxcroft Academy. And these are look at some of the dorm rooms between Herd Hall and the lodge. Each dorm has a little bit different setup just because of how they were built, but both Herd and the lodge offer double occupancy for rooms. Each have your own closet. You share a microwave and refrigerator. You can see that in the top right-hand corner. And you have great views outside, whether you're looking out over the football field or if you have a field over on the backside, like in the bottom right-hand corner, or you may be looking out in the wooded area and you can see deer and will walk up to not necessarily walk up to the windows, but you might be able to see deer out there feeding off some of the fir trees out there. So a great opportunity to see some wildlife in action as well. Activities, we offer them Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays, including some holidays, depending on how things are going. But you can do everything from whitewater rafting to going skating to shopping, horseback riding. If you want an activity, if you're interested in something, ask your dorm parent, ask the residential life staff, and they'll try to make that happen. Our teachers offer activities. You can go to the movies. You think of it, well, we can probably offer it here at FA. Here's actually some pictures of some of the activities we've done. Skiing, an escape room, bowling. Who doesn't like bowling? And down in the bottom left corner is whitewater rafting. Here are some of the areas of Maine that we may visit throughout the course of your time here at FA. Bangor, the waterfront area, it's been revitalized. It's beautiful down on the Penobscot River. Thunderhole, Acadia National Park, one of the most pristine areas in the country. Portland Headlight, one of the most predominantly known lighthouses on the East Coast. It's still there, and we may go visit that. And of course, the Portland Museum of Art in Portland, Maine, which is only about an hour and a half away from Boston, but a very, very wonderful area. The environment, safe, small, and we are a New England community. So again, what you see is what you get here at Foxcroft Academy. These aren't photoshopped pictures. This is what we are. We're a small New England town. We care about the environment. We care about the people around us. And we definitely care about our community. Some of the things you might not have seen before, a lobster. Yeah, we have lobster feeds every now and then. A student sitting under a tree out in front of the school and somebody just studying, a student studying in the Muriel Watson Library here at Foxcroft Academy. Some pictures of nature. And these pictures, folks, these are all around us within 20 miles. Wooded area. And then we have a picture of Sebec Lake, and also a picture from top of Borestone Mountain, which we can hike as well. That's one of the boarding trips that we do, is a hike up Borestone Mountain. Beautiful scenery, especially in the fall time. So why Foxcroft Academy? We've got a history of excellence. You can see the college placements in the top 100 universities around the country. We're a diverse student body. We have day students and boarding students, but at the end of the day, we're all Foxcroft Academy students. Our faculty, they're committed to student excellence. They want to see you pass. They want to see you thrive. They want to see you do well, and they want to see you move on in your academic endeavors. And we're committed to technological advancements of our students, and we offer, of course, a great residential life staff for you. If you'd like to learn more about Foxcroft Academy, please go to our website. It's www.foxcroftacademy.org. You can like us on Facebook or Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter. Check out our YouTube page again. That's Foxcroft Academy Films. If you go to YouTube and just type in Foxcroft Academy Films, you'll see a picture of a pony head. That's our mascot. And that's the one you want to click on. And of course, you can always reach out to our admissions staff, as they would love to talk to you as you go on thinking about what you want to do for your academic endeavors. So I'll stop sharing the screen right now, and you'll get a chance to look at me here before we go. But again, I want to thank you for taking the time to learn more about Foxcroft Academy. If you have any questions, again, reach out, admissions@foxcroftacademy.org, and we can answer any question that you have. Our director and associate director of admissions are standing by and waiting, and would like to tell you more about Foxcroft Academy and why you should be a student here at Foxcroft. Remember, we're not day students. We're not boarding students. Everybody here at Foxcroft Academy are Foxcroft Academy students. I'm Toby Nelson, Director of Marketing and Communications, and I hope you have a great day.